Hi friends, this is Chris. Welcome back to the channel. So the USA just got a credit downgrade, and I want to show you the headlines and also talk about sort of why I enjoy doing books, not necessarily the news anymore. Well, as you can see, news is bad. Fitch strips US of AAA rating after borrowing standoff, talking about how the two parties couldn't come to an agreement over debt ceiling, etc. And agency cites erosion of governments as it downgrades the world's largest economy. So downgrade for the USA. Fitch also talks about the U.S. debt burden as a concern. And it says the agency expects the general government deficit to rise to 6.3% of GDP in 2023, up from 3.7% in 2022. So we're spending more than we're bringing in, basically. Reflecting cyclically weaker federal revenues, so not enough money coming in, and new spending initiatives and a higher interest burden. So not cool. And then they're also saying here they expect a recession projected fourth quarter 2023, first quarter 2024. So coming up. If you take a look at the map here now, this is not Fitch, this is actually Standard & Poor's. You can see different credit ratings around the world. So Standard & Poor's, this is USA here. Canada's doing a little bit better than us, or USA, want to say Australia's doing better, and then parts of Europe, and you can see here it's like the Scandinavian countries. Interesting enough, too, as well, is that they talk about politics played a role, just basically our current political system in the USA. Fitch downgrade U.S. credit rating, and they actually cite the January 6th thing. It's basically, and I can't stress this enough. I think this is actually a really important story to talk about the whole January 6th thing and Trump being indicted. But sadly, on YouTube, people get so partisan and stuff like that, and it frustrates me. Full disclosure, I don't like either of these guys. I've said it several times during the election. I said it several times again and again. I think they're too old. I'd like to get some new blood. One dude is 80, the other dude is 77. So, too old. Is my opinion. You can have a different opinion, but that's mine. And if you want to look at the countries in terms of ratings, so here, it's Germany's got a AAA, Denmark, Netherlands, Sweden, Norway, Switzerland, Luxembourg, Singapore, and Australia. So if you're in one of these countries, I'd love to hear your opinion. If you agree or disagree that I guess your country's credit rating is better than the USA. You can see the list right there, but I'm just curious your thoughts for those coming from those countries. Now, regarding our current political process, there was an interesting story recently, and let me find it here. Actually, it's right here. Mitch McConnell, and I mentioned this because we're talking about old people. He actually froze at the podium. You probably saw the footage already, and it was pretty scary. So, I'm not necessarily a hater of Mitch. I find the whole thing just sad. Regardless if you like his politics or hate his politics, just to see an old person freeze in front of the camera, and he's just old. And to even have this conversation all is ludicrous. Like, he literally should just step down and be like, yo, you're too old. Let's get someone else in there and be done with it. But no, in U.S. politics, we have to hold onto whatever party that you believe in, and regardless of any kind of age or health concerns, you just vote for whatever party that you believe in, and you find it odd if someone's like, yo, they're both too old, and I can't stress that enough. Not everyone is like one part or the other. Some of us I would like to think are sane, but this goes back to why I don't like the news that much these days. Just frankly, people don't want the truth. I don't know what to say. I point, hey, Biden's 80, and I point to say, hey, Trump's 77, and people will be like, no, Chris, you're lying. Biden's 50 and Trump is 60, and I'm like, what world do we live in? It's like, I don't know what to say, and so that's why I prefer doing books, because I feel like these kind of stuff, represent that we need a lot of just more basic education out there. I can spend a long time talking about the January 6th thing, but if you don't know, Donald Trump was indicted, and charges are, we'll go through them real quick. And again, it's like, to me, I don't care which party you're in. If you're doing something illegal, you're doing something bad, we got to call you out on it, and we got to have justice. I don't think it's a hard thing to say, but for some people, it's a hard thing to say, because they love this person for whatever reason. But here's the charges. Charges against Donald Trump. 1, to defraud the United States by using dishonesty, fraud, deceit, to impair, obstruct, and defeat lawful government function by which results of the federal presidential election are collected, counted, and certified by the federal government. Number 2, corruptly obstruct and impede January 6th congressional proceeding at which collected results of the presidential election are counted and certified. And 3, against the right to vote and have one's vote counted. I read through some of the stuff. It's interesting. So they were saying that, Trump has a right to spread lies and say whatever stupid thing he wants to say. However, he doesn't necessarily have the right to do things that are legal. So I thought that was a really interesting and important distinction there. And it reminds me of like, why do people fall for this stuff? It's the same way, like, why do people fall for crypto scams? It's all the same stuff to me. It's like, you get the politicians that you deserve. If sadly, we have a population that's deeply partisan, and frankly, I feel like our IQ is going lower and lower and lower daily. You fall for any number of these things. Like, here's a simple example of this. SEC sues crypto influencer for allegedly buying sports cars and a rare black diamond with investor funds. So there's this crypto dude. His name is Richard Hart. He has some crypto thing called Hex. He was basically, telling people all day, every day, you're going to be rich and I'm here to help you. And he wears these kind of clothes. He's got a YouTube channel. And he's out, taking your money, buying, the true story, $534,000 McLarens, $314,000 Ferraris, $1.38 million Rolex, and supposedly a $5 million black diamond called the Enigma. Here's saying 4.3, but regardless, this is a pretty big diamond. I looked into it, and it may or not be from outer space. So who knows? But this is sort of why, if you guys understand, the whole point of this thing is I'm a bit sarcastic and cynical about this stuff, is I want to do smarter topics, to be honest, or how can I say, address things that I feel that, hopefully everyone can use, and I don't think get into the weeds of this stuff. I'm me personally, I'm fine going through all these things and having neutral opinions and just reading stuff and, saying, hey, it looks like this Democrat's bad, looks like this, Republican's bad. I have no problem with saying that. But, the way the internet works, you have to pick a side, and then you can become really popular in saying how one side's great and the other side's bad, etc. And I think that just represents the, like I said before, lowering IQ of our culture. I think it's sad, to be honest. And therefore, I'm putting it all together. You get the politicians that you deserve, and Fitch has got a lower, rating. And just for example, there's another one. Biden is trying to, promise people, hey, we're going to like waive your student loans, and it's never going to happen. But it's just appeasing to a low IQ audience. I don't know what else to say. And it's sad. So, I do what I can. And, I enjoy doing YouTube, but it can be very frustrating. Because just reality, if you want to be popular on this media, just appeal to sort of the lowest common denominator, talk about your Bitcoins and how Elon is awesome, and pick whatever particular party and say that they're awesome too, and then say mainstream media is all liars, and you can be really, really popular. And essentially you're rewarded for lowering your IQ also. I refuse to do that, and I don't necessarily, have to be the biggest YouTuber out there. I just try to give you guys good information, and you gotta have a sense of humor about this stuff. I get frustrated because obviously I don't necessarily want to see the USA, get downgraded like this. But it is what it is. Our current system is broken. And until people can wake up and live in reality, and for example, I'll if I do a video on showing people the full earnings report of a company and like point to numbers of like, make it really simple, like, hey, this is profits, this is earnings. And you have a viewership that doesn't know the difference between profits and earnings, or can even tell the difference between the number 1 and number 2. I want to say it's like, we got to make it really, really simple. So I know I'm being a little mean today, but I'll keep trying my best to do educational stuff, and I keep doing book reviews. I enjoy that very, very much. And I enjoy you guys coming back for more. So this is sort of why I just don't want to do the news that much these days. Tends to be bad, and I already explained all my reasons. And if you don't understand anything that I'm saying, I don't know what to tell you. So thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you next video.